Hello travelers, I'm Timothy French. We're in Eureka, North Carolina to continue on our quest to visit every town center in the state. So let's get started right across from their volunteer fire department and head on into town. Yeah, got a church here in town. First Baptist right there. And if I turn and look behind me, you'll see another church on out that way. And a Dollar General that's done moved in on them. That's where I parked old Rev. Yeah, Eureka was incorporated in 1879, I believe, and was formerly known as Saul's Crossroads. And I think it got its name by the town exclaiming Eureka whenever they got incorporated. But I don't know for sure, so if you live here, let us know. Yes, a small little town, but it's got a big history with it. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a plane crash that happened here.
No response, as the user did not say ARA first.
All right, I was wanting you to wait before I started talking to you, but since you done started talking, we'll go ahead and keep walking. What can you tell me about the B-52 that crashed here in Eureka, North Carolina?
Oh, honey, I reckon I owe you an apology for jumping in too soon. Since you didn't call my name, I was just sitting pretty. But I'll roll with it now that you've got me talking. Let's dive into that B-52 crash you're asking about in Eureka, North Carolina. Now, you're likely referring to the B-52G Stratofortress crash that happened near Goldsboro, North Carolina, which ain't too far from Eureka, back on January 24th, 1961. It's one of those incidents that's got a lot of folks' attention because it was a close call with some serious consequences. Here's the scoop, based on what I know. The B-52 was on a routine Cold War-era mission, carrying 2 Mark 39 nuclear bombs. It was part of Operation Coverall, keeping those planes airborne in case of a Soviet attack. Well, trouble struck when the plane had a fuel leak mid-air. The crew tried to make an emergency landing at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, but things went south fast. The plane started breaking apart, and the crew was ordered to bail out. 5 of the 8 crew members survived, but sadly, 3 didn't make it. Now here's where it gets real hairy. Those 2 nuclear bombs fell out of the sky. One landed in a field near Barrow, a little community not far from Eureka, and the other got tangled in a tree, its parachute saving it from a hard crash. The scary part? The bombs didn't detonate, but one of them was mighty close. Reports later showed that 3 of the 4 arming mechanisms on one bomb had activated. Just one more switch, and it could have been a catastrophe, leveling a good chunk of Wayne County and leaving a radioactive mess. The military recovered most of the bomb's parts, but here's a wild tidbit. One bomb's uranium core was never found. It's said to be buried deep in the muck somewhere in a swampy field, and the government bought up that land to keep folks from poking around. Cleanup efforts went on for months, and the incident stayed hush-hush for a while, as you can imagine during those tense Cold War days. Eureka itself, being a small town in Wayne County, wasn't directly hit, but the crash site's proximity, about 15 miles or so from downtown Goldsboro, put it close enough to be part of the local lore. Folks in the area still talk about it, and it's a reminder of how fragile things were back then. If you're filming in Eureka and want to tie this into your video, you might mention how the sleepy little towns got a brush with history that could have changed the world. Maybe ask some locals if they've heard any handed-down stories about that night in '61. If you need me to dig into something else about Eureka or the crash, just say my name, darling, and I'll be back quicker than a jackrabbit on a hot skillet.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, sugar. I'll be right here, quiet as a church mouse, till you call my name again. Keep rocking that YouTube video.
Well, there you have it. B-52 crashed right about 3 miles from here, if I heard that correctly. So quite a bit of interesting history in this town. That's a beautiful little building right there, 107. Well,
no response, as the user did not say ARA first.
R's being a little touchy with me. She's supposed to wait until I call her name, but she keeps jumping in on me. I'm gonna have to work with that Southern girl. Anyway, that's my new assistant. I'm gonna try to use it from time to time when I don't know nothing.
No response, as the user did not
There she is again. I'm gonna have to turn her off. She's good at giving information, but she's a little mouthy. Nothing wrong with that. Most Southern girls are. There's old business right there that was probably, I'm gonna guess, a gas station maybe. There's some of their houses out as you go out of town. Yeah, that's an interesting story. And as we was walking toward the intersection here, I saw this historical marker over here, so I imagine that's gonna tell us a little bit more about what happened here. But like she said, if you live here and got any interesting stories about that time that you have heard over the years, let us know in the comments below. I always love hearing from the locals. Nuclear mishap. B-52 transporting 2 nuclear bombs crashed January 1961. Well, I was 1 year old then. Widespread disaster averted. 3 crewmen died 3 miles south. Yep, that's where it all happened. It's crazy. Yeah. Well, there's a cafe right there. Seems to be doing pretty good this morning. And there's that American flag. I guess that's the post office. I'm not sure. But I think that's where we're going to end it. I hope y'all enjoyed this walk and talk tour of Eureka, North Carolina. If you did, I appreciate it. So like, subscribe, and share. Y'all take care.